A last chorus for your ears only. I'm David Alpern.
I'm Eddie Robinson with this quote from the news. Always positive and happy, and she made me feel like I wanted to go to math class. That was Christian Snyder, a Danvers, Massachusetts high school student, on his former teacher, 24-year-old Colleen Ritzer, after fellow student Philip Chisholm was arraigned as an adult for her murder. Also last week, a 12-year-old opened fire at a school in Nevada, shooting a teacher and wounding 2 students before killing himself. Now this.
I like a dance by Fred Astaire, Hugh Jackman's eyes, Clooney's hair. But I think to tell you's only fair that I love being here with you.
For years, jazz piano virtuoso Judy Carmichael has teased audiences around the world about singing too, then vocalizing barely a line or less. Finally, she decided to keep the promise seriously. Now in an all-singing and playing new CD, I Love Being Here With You, and in 2 live shows, October 28th in the Dizzy's New York Club at Jazz at Lincoln Center. And to talk about her journey to the keyboard and beyond for your ears only, my friend, neighbor, and fellow radio host on her NPR show Jazz Inspired, Judy Carmichael is on the line now. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
When and how did you first start playing piano and first start thinking of it as a career?
I started playing when I was a kid, like many people, took a couple years of piano lessons. Also, like many people, didn't like my piano teacher and never thought I would continue it. And then I got an interest in ragtime, which made me more interested in the piano, learned a few rags, and then while I was in college, I got a job playing ragtime. And I played one tune and got the job. So it was one of those funny bits where I still wasn't taking it very seriously as a career. And then someone who came in to where I was working, played me an early Count Basie track, and just had a sense, God bless this man, because he said, if you like this ragtime, I think you're really going to like this. And I did, and it inspired me to get into early jazz, and then one thing led to another, and here I am.
What exactly is stride piano, and what drew you to make it your special musical focus?
It's called stride because the left hand is striding from the bass end of the piano up to the mid-range. So it hits bass notes and then strides, S-T-R-I-D-E, up to the mid-range, back and forth. And so that term was used more as a verb originally because everyone played some sort of swinging left-hand focused piano in the early years of jazz. But if a person could make these big leaps effectively, like Fats Waller, Count Basie, people like that, then they were called real stride pianists, or they'd say, man, that person can really stride. And people talk about me in this regard because this vocabulary has inspired me, and it discriminates me from the others who are playing more of a bebop-oriented style or something like that came pre-1940.
Let's establish that you are a slim, sexy, curly-haired blonde, but hearing you play sight unseen led a famous black jazz singer to make an incorrect assumption about your ethnicity. Tell that story.
I can't believe you remember this story because I think I told you this years ago. This is my first jazz festival. It's a place called the Concord Jazz Festival, the Concord Pavilion, that gorgeous Frank Gehry building in California, and I was doing my sound check, and I played away. I was in my early 20s, and Carmen McRae was in her dressing room waiting for her sound check downstairs, and she heard me over the monitor and told someone to go get me and said, go get that guy playing stride piano, because she didn't know who I was, hadn't heard my name, didn't know what I looked like, and inferred from the playing that I was a big black man, and which I found out later because I came to her dressing room after my sound check, and she saw me and gave me a once-over and said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, you said you wanted to meet the stride pianist. And she again gave me a once-over and said, well, baby, you don't look like you play. And we became great friends. She was a big supporter of mine in my early careers and my early career, so I was very fortunate with that.
How did you come to start the radio show Jazz Inspired 15 years ago, and who are some celebrity guests who've described what that uniquely American music means to them?
Well, I had been asked a number of times, or been told by radio people, I guess is a better way to put it, because I've been on radio a lot, that I have a radio voice, you should do a radio show. And so this had been sort of going around in my head. And I wanted to do something different from what Marion McPartland had done with her wonderful show where she played piano and had guests who played piano or sang or something, and other people that had focused on that. I wanted a broader subject, and I also wanted something that would open new listeners to the music and also educate people, hopefully, on the joys of the arts in a broader way, and get to talk about ideas and talk to people about what inspires them. And my hook is I know a number of people and have found a number of creative people who love jazz, feel it's inspired them, and it gives me a different way to come at the interview process. I had Robert Redford, I had Renee Fleming, who was a jazz singer in college and then went on, of course, for that little career she has in opera, and Seth MacFarlane, more recently, John Lithgow. And I've had a lot of people that aren't household names, so it's been a great opportunity because they're extended interviews or conversations, they're an hour, to get to the bottom of it and really talk about have two artists having a conversation about inspiration in jazz.
Stride piano star and now solo vocalist Judy Carmichael performs numbers from her new CD, I Love Being Here With You, 7:30 and 9:30, October 28th, in the Dizzy's New York Club at Jazz at Lincoln Center.
I love being here with you.
And this has been For Your Ears Only.